A closer look at Biden's problems, and it just gets worse. DoorDash drivers lying, and some of the merchants are doing something about it. And paranoid judges weaponizing the disability laws. That's kind of a mess. Good morning. Welcome to the Jay Sheldon Show. We are live on Rumble and YouTube. Yep, it's working. I figured it out finally. So we have two platforms now where we hopefully will regularly be live, both YouTube and Rumble. Now, I got to tell you, Rumble is open. They have terms of service, of course. We have to follow those, but it's a lot less restrictive than YouTube. I'm doing this show for Rumble, so some of the stuff may get demonetized or whatever penalties they can throw our way on YouTube. I really don't care. I'm just over there for whatever little bit of audience we can pick up. We got to get the word out there about the show. All right. Good morning, Marilyn. Woohoo, you did it. All right, smartass. Yes, I did it. I remembered it was 9 o'clock on the East Coast, Eastern Time. Danny says, good morning, man. The time change has got to go. It feels like my body's getting up at 5 instead of 6 because it is. I hate the time change. I wish they would just leave it alone. What's really nice is when it syncs up so that we're each 12 hours apart. That's perfect, like it is right now. Could we just leave that there for a change? Why not? All right, we got a lot going on this morning. It is a Tuesday. This is a live show. We're also a podcast. Don't forget that. You can pick up our audio streaming over on Spotify, Apple iTunes, all the platforms. Just search for The Jay Sheldon Show. Give us a subscribe over there. And a follow here on Rumble, of course. Of course. Hey, before we get going, I want to show you something. This, as you know, I live in Malaysia. I've been here for almost 25 years now. But I am a patriot through and through. I absolutely love this America, the United States of, and it's what everything is all about. Now, a lot of people have said, what's it like in Malaysia? Well, let me tell you something. This is a video taken from some guy in a car in a place called Klang in Johor. That is one of our states here in Malaysia. We have 13 states, and each state has a sultan, and then there is a king. It's a constitutional monarchy, and a pretty cool place. People are great. We have three main races, Malay, Indian, and Chinese. So it's a cool blend. The food here is amazing. And so is the wildlife, which is what I wanted to show you. This is about 150 miles away from where I live. So not really all that far. And let me just pop this video in here and show you what some guy was shooting out of the side window of his car as he was driving along. You can see him. There it is. Look at that. You see that right there? You know what that is? That's a tiger. Yeah, we have tigers here. They are wild, and they will eat you. Look at that. This ain't AI, folks. This is a real live wild tiger. Look at that. How majestic. He's saying maybe he comes here. Let's hope not. Look at that. Amazing, huh? Yeah. You know what? To me, because I absolutely love monkeys, monkeys are everywhere. We have them. I've had them here, right here in my neighborhood, jumping on the roof. Little, I don't know, what are they, macaques or something like that? Anyway, they're quite common. And for a guy who loves monkeys, to actually live in a place where they're wild and they are out there and you see them on a I live in a suburban area, so they're not that common here, but they're here. It's very cool. Danny says that's wild, no pun intended. Yeah, it is wild. It's amazing. So the next time you are in Malaysia and you're running around in the woods, just keep that in mind. If I'm not mistaken, about a year or two ago, there was it a black panther or a black leopard that was seen? Again, out in the wild, but they're here. Man, I'm telling you. Very, very cool. All right, what do we got going on here? Oh, yeah, grab the popcorn, folks. Trump's executive privilege decision is going to make all the difference in the world, because what that means is that all the info about Oatmeal Brains Biden is going to be coming out. President Trump made a big decision that is very likely going to expose a lot of information that was not released about Joe Biden during his occupancy of the Oval Office. Trump rejected Biden's claims of executive privilege not to turn over the documents requested in various Senate probes, determining it is, quote, not in the best interest of the United States. I added the laughter. White House counsel David Warrington wrote yesterday in a letter addressed to the National Archives and Records admin, obtained by Fox News Digital, that Trump does not uphold the former president's assertion of privilege over records sought in 4 congressional probes. The letter directs NARA to provide those materials to Congress. This dispute centers on documents related to investigations into Biden's health, which we all know what that was, alleged political motivated probes into Trump and his allies, the Biden family's financial dealings. That will be interesting to look at. And Republicans argue it all goes right to the heart of Congress's constitutional authority to conduct oversight. That means the White House is basically telling NARA, you turn over anything about the cover-up of Biden's health and cognitive decline. Imagine all the potential documents that could involve. You could see all the machinations and who specifically did what regarding concealing his cognitive decline. Not to mention the abuse of that auto pen, of course, took place during his presidency, the unbelievable effort they took to try and shield Biden's diminished faculties from the public. There's got to be an accounting. I mean, there was a group of people with that auto pen basically running this country, and it wasn't Joe Biden. And we're going to find out all about it. Warrington had previously weighed in when Trump denied the executive privilege regarding the auto pen issue. Senate also trying to get records related to coordinated efforts by Biden's admin against Trump and his staff through politically motivated investigations. Oh, yeah. Could also reap a whole gold mine of very interesting things. The White House argued the constitutional protections of executive privilege should not be used to shield from Congress evidence of a president's efforts to imprison his opponent, which is exactly what was happening. The third set relates to, and I find this is going to be the most interesting, Biden's family financial dealings and conflicts of interest, potentially. That's going to cover a ton of interesting stuff, including the interaction with foreign nationals. So, Warrington directed NARA to turn over 3 sets of records to the various congressional committees that were looking for them. Democrats, of course, screaming about transparency while not being transparent. Duh. Why should any of that information get held back by the Biden team and not released? No good reason on earth, folks. Unless there are things in there they just, oh, I don't know, maybe they don't want us to see. Could that be part of it? Oh, yeah. We need to have it all come out if there's going to be any kind of accountability in these probes. This huge, glaring lack of accountability from the Democrats and all of their misconduct has gone on for far too long. However, as Danny just said, I don't care unless there are arrests. Not holding my breath. Sadly, I'm right there with you. Somebody needs to go to prison. Somebody needs to get charged. There need to be indictments. Probe after investigation. And what's happened about it? From Epstein to Biden and everybody in between, F all, nothing. So what is it? Just like Danny said, meaningless. It's all just bread and circuses, just to keep you entertained. What in God's name is going on in the chat? Marilyn says, wonder if Jay will remember it. We had a lady in Connecticut whose monkey turned on her and just about ripped her face and several body parts off. They will do that. Do not have monkeys as pets. Chimpanzees in particular, they are a vicious, vicious animal. They are very dangerous. Blinded her, it was horrible. Thinking of the same woman, was in the 90s, bit her fingers and everything. Not sure, but I think both hands, wow. Unbelievable. Anyway, don't play with monkeys, okay? Intercepted secret communications on awakened terrorist sleeper cells. Folks, we got something going on right now, and it's not good. In fact, it's very bad. Iran, number one state sponsor of international terrorism. We all know that for sure. Even though that regime is currently getting shellacked day by day by U.S. forces, U.S. and Israeli forces, their terror network is still very, very much alive, and you need to keep that in mind. It's unknown how many potential killers are right here in our midst in the United States. The U.S. has intercepted encrypted communications, listen up, believed to have originated in Iran that may serve as an operational trigger for sleeper assets outside the country, according to a federal government alert sent to law enforcement agencies. This alert cites preliminary signal analysis of a transmission likely of Iranian origin that was relayed across multiple countries shortly after the death of Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. Khamenei, the former supreme leader of Iran. Senior columnist at Town Hall warned about the dangers of sleeper cells earlier this month. From a law enforcement source in California, all SWAT-qualified officers in Glendale and Burbank have been issued additional ammo and level 4 body armor for their patrol vehicles. These people are getting ready. A law enforcement source in California, military intel source in the Research Triangle area of North Carolina, especially down towards Southern Pines, Fort Bragg. The next 3 to 6 weeks, those cells will step in. Hezbollah been embedded completely there, and they have been there, waiting for a generation. These people are patient. It's the same up and down the East Coast, inside the Iranian expat community, also LA, plenty of other places across the breadth and depth of this country. And you need to be prepared, be armed, be ready. Look, I am by no means trying to be an alarmist. Not trying to scare you. I just need you to be aware. This just out, in the story I just read you, that Iran has sent a suspected operational trigger message which will activate sleeper cells here in the U.S. All of this happened within the last week. Sleeper cells not coming. They're here. And they've been here. They came here through a very wide open border, of course. We all know where that came from. So what does that mean for you? I'm not saying this to scare you. I just genuinely want you to be aware of what's going on. You need to be aware. Do not sit there in the comfort of your home and think, no worries, nothing's going to happen to me, not in my little small town. Doesn't work that way. Number one, situational awareness. It's got to be through the roof right now. Be aware of your situation, your surroundings. Number two, if you don't have to be in a crowded place, don't be. That's simple. Number three, if you are in a crowded place, get your face out of your phone. Probably the most important thing you can do. Put your phone in your pocket. It'll buzz you if somebody's trying to call you or message you. Do not be walking through the malls with your face buried in your phone so you have no idea what's going on around you. That's situational awareness. Or that's actually the lack of it. Eyes up. Pay attention to what's going on around you. And number four, please be aware that the highest threat right now is lone wolf style attacks on soft targets. Soft targets, bars, concerts, malls. Less coordinated attacks, things like that. Some huge attack not likely to happen. These are lone wolf attacks, just as deadly. Again, not to alarm you, not to make you afraid. Just this very real report is just out. You've got to keep your eyes up. You got to keep yourself safe and trust your gut. If something feels off, if something feels wrong, get out. Leave. Even if you're wrong, you're still safe. Trust that gut feeling. Very, very important. Danny says exactly what I'm struggling with as my daughter's Sweet 16's approaching in May. I want to do something big with her friends, but going to Chicago's out of the picture. Concerts, nope, I'm struggling, and it's really sad we have to think this way today. It is. It is sad. It will hopefully be part of our history very soon. We won't have to deal with this, but for right now, I'm sorry, folks. Like I said, I don't mean to scare you. That's not my intention. My intention is to keep you alive and to make you aware. The people who just sit back and say, I live in a small town. Nothing ever happens here. It's no big deal. It's a big deal. You need to think about it. You need to be aware. Like I said, most importantly, get your damn face out of your phone. Be aware of your situational awareness. Be aware of your surroundings and trust your gut. That's all I got for you, but You have got to do that. Critical. All right. Let's do something slightly uplifting, shall we? DoorDash. We don't have DoorDash here where I am. We've got Grab, Food Panda, but we don't have the brand DoorDash. I know it's huge in the U.S. Would you imagine that some of these DoorDash drivers and delivery people would lie? Oh, yeah. Well, the restaurant owners, some of them anyway, are getting really tired of it, and it apparently happens a lot more often than you'd imagine. This one particular restaurant owner got tired of it. People, DoorDash delivery people, lying to customers about pickups, take matters into his own hands, finally said, "That's it, I'm done." Take a look at this. What a damn cool thing this guy did who runs this particular restaurant. When the DoorDash driver reported he was at the restaurant like a half an hour before he even showed up.
You marked that you were here 32 minutes ago.
Because I thought it was down there.
32 minutes ago. Yeah, you're not taking this order. I'll contact DoorDash.
Dasher waiting for 31 minutes, but I don't think so. We
35
made it 30 minutes ago.
I hit on the tablet, call Dasher, and it says, "Is the call connecting?" Like, what are you talking about? Hello, this is Carlos. Hung up on me. Can't make this up. Let's try this again. They have AI screening. Carlos Carrillo.
What's the name?
Lynette? Are you picking up for Lynette? You marked that you were here 32 minutes ago, but you weren't. This order's been ready for 32 minutes.
No, yeah.
But you marked that you were here 32 minutes ago.
Because I thought it was down there.
32 minutes ago. Yeah, you're not taking this order. I'll contact DoorDash. Yep, she marked that she was here 32 minutes ago and wasn't really here, and now trying to pick up the order to deliver it, but that makes us look like shit. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna remake the order, call the customer, and deliver it myself. It's not happening. No matter how many issues we run into with delivery partners, we're gonna make sure that we protect our business and that it's represented well, so we're gonna take care of this customer by delivering it ourselves.
Boom. That's how you do it. There's a whole world out there, folks. It's going on without you. You can't see it, but it's happening. Imagine that a half an hour before she actually shows up to pick up the delivery from the restaurant, she reports she's at the restaurant. You know how cold that food would be in a half an hour? Inedible. But it's through the good graces of genuine owners like this guy who says, nope, not doing it. Good on you. And I hope that DoorDash delivery person wound up getting reported because they certainly deserve it. It's incredible. Man, a Shevitz. Hey, some good news and advice from a longevity doc. You know, a longevity doc, the kind of doctor who finds ways to encourage you to live longer, something we kind of always want to do. Well, his advice, don't give up alcohol. I've been saved. Look, plenty of us like a little snort now and then. Little glass of wine, a bottle of beer. There's nothing wrong with that. The old saying goes, moderation in all things. That certainly applies. As long as you're not getting drunk and throwing punches at cops. Alcohol in all of its various forms. One of those things you like to enjoy sensibly. Of course, there are rabid longevity health-crazed people who completely abstain from alcohol, and that's fine too. If you don't want to drink, you don't have to. As long as you don't go all Kerry Nation, try and get me to abstain as well when I don't want to. I like a cold beer, snort a good whiskey every now and then, the occasional very dry gin martini. I finally got my hands on some amaretto. One of my all-time favorites. Reminds me of Mother's Cafe in West Cornwall, Connecticut. I'll tell you that story another day. Anyway, good to see some prominent longevity doctor who agrees with me. Not just any doctor either. This is Dr. Simon Fieldhouse, the Chief Medical Officer at the Balance Rehab Clinic's Swiss Hub, President of the Swiss Society for Anti-Aging Medicine and Prevention. SAMP, they call it. Anyway, he says he likes a wee dram every now and then himself. Here's the doc. Doing all we can to achieve good health is sensible. Who doesn't want to enjoy life for as long as possible? Yet, what is the point of having a long life if it's just full of a bunch of restrictions and abstinences, not joy? At the age of 58, he says, some of my fondest times with friends have certainly included wine or beer. Spending time eating, drinking, laughing, swapping stories has brought me much pleasure over the years, so I have no plans to stop. I'm not suggesting that alcohol is necessary or risk-free. The doc says, I do believe that our relationship with it is much more nuanced than the current fear-driven narrative that it's become fashionable to push. We might note that the same kinds of scolds who wag their fingers at us over a little hooch also are paranoid about food, our estimation of what's good and what's bad for us to eat, what is and isn't changing some. Back to booze, though. As far as Dr. Fieldhouse comments, this is his main point. I drink only beer or wine, almost always with food, so alcohol's a part of a meal. But even doctors aren't perfect. There's one exception in the year when I throw caution to the wind happily during the annual German beer festival in Oktoberfest. I enthusiastically and unashamedly enjoy drinking beer by the liter because, he says, life is too short not to have fun. That's the key phrase. Life is too short not to have fun. Plenty of people, myself included, enjoy things that may or may not, strictly speaking, be good for us. But speaking for me, a good shot of whiskey, cold beer now and then. Not a fan of cigars. I've never liked cigars. I don't even like the smell of somebody else smoking cigars. I sadly am a smoker of cigarettes. I have been since I was 16 years old. I've been smoking forever. It hasn't killed me yet. It probably eventually will. Can't quit. Tried everything. Don't even start. But strangely enough, I can't stand the smell of cigars. Give me a bacon cheeseburger, a really good steak, grilled cheese sandwich made with sourdough, bread, bacon grease. I have every intention of living forever. You're not going to stop me. From my point of view, I will enjoy myself while I do it. Not that I'm getting fallen down drunk anymore. I've been there. Not anymore. Not in many, many decades. I'll leave that to the younger segments of the population and a few members of the animal kingdom, perhaps. Again, key thing to remember, all things in moderation. Take life with gusto. What is the point in living if you haven't lived? Bada bing, bada boom. I love this guy. I absolutely love this guy. Thanks, Doc. You made me feel better. Think I'll have a drink after the show. Is 10 o'clock in the morning too early? Maybe not. Danny, a friend of mine did IVF and her doctor recommended beer. Really? For in vitro? He said it helps women's egg counts. Something about the yeast. Oh, isn't that weird? I suppose. Why not? Strange. Maybe, though, if it works and then you get pregnant, then you might want to lay off the alcohol for, I don't know, 8-9 months. Here's some good news. The Small Business Administration has slammed the door shut on foreign nationals. I'll bet you didn't even know this. But as of right now, all loans from the SBA are for Americans only. I know that sounds a bit yay, rah, rah, pro-America, blah, blah, blah. But it stands to reason. It's a government program which is intended to support small business. They're funded by the taxpayers, which means it ought to be available to American citizens, not anybody who happens to stumble across our border, legal or illegal. Apparently that hasn't been the case until now anyway. SBA slammed the door on foreign national and non-citizens. You are no longer allowed or qualified to apply for an SBA loan program. Oh, sorry. Become a citizen, you can apply all you want. They announced a new policy that will ban foreign nationals, non-citizens, from accessing our loan services, continuing efforts to refocus federal resources to ventures that align with the American prioritization. Trump's SBA committed to driving economic growth, job creation for American citizens. Requirements going to apply to its surety bond, microloan program, and expansion of the changes made in February to the SBA's 504 and 7A programs, loans for small businesses looking for working capital, equipment acquisitions. Sorry, but if you're a foreign national looking to open or take over total or partial ownership of a small business in the U.S., you can get financing in your own damn country. And good luck with that. We can question the legitimacy of the federal government providing these kind of loans in the first place. I know. But that's a story for another time. As long as the SBA is providing these loans, it is not too much to expect they would go to Americans. These loans, of course, have already been dispersed. We can and should change this going forward, and we are, since President Trump's SBA has been busy not only with the loan programs, but also the rampant amount of fraud going on in these cases. You can imagine the SBA has been beside itself trying to deal with this house of fire. They are responsible, the SBA, for safeguarding our money. For most of us who've been paying attention to politics, the deep state over the last few decades, notion like this is enough to make you burst out laughing. The Biden admin alone seemed determined to drop federal dollars down every rat hole they could find. Now, with the many and varied fraud schemes that are being exposed, dragged out into the light, you can see exactly the results of that mess. SBA is an agency meant to help Americans. It's funded by you and I, the American taxpayers. The benefits of any programs that runs through the SBA is meant to and must go to Americans. And that is not unreasonable at all. Is that true, Marilyn? Illegals can buy houses in the U.S.? Wouldn't surprise me. Would not surprise me at all. Because of all the things illegals do, and that leads me into a nice segue to our next story. According to the FBI, an illegal alien voted in 5 presidential elections after he was supposed to be deported. And we will tell you about that right after we get through telling you about the wonders of Blackout coffee. Oh, yeah. Blackout, one of our favorite sponsors and partners here on this show. If you're like me, you want a coffee that is strong, bold, unapologetic, just like you. None of that weak, corporate, watered-down crap from the big corporate chains. Blackout coffee, the real deal for patriots who still believe in hard work, freedom, starting your day with a kick that actually means something. Roasted fresh in small batches right here in America. Blackout delivers that rich, smooth, powerful flavor that hits you right where you need it. No bitterness ever. Pure energy, sunrise to sunset, whether you're grinding through the day, hitting the range, or just refusing to back down, this is the coffee that stands with you. And get this, they are veteran-founded, family-owned, and they give back. Every bag you buy helps fuel American values, even sends coffee to our troops overseas through their Operation Blackout program. Head to Blackout Coffee in the link in our show notes. Use that link and use code J20 for 20% off your first order. They've always got great deals going on. Subscription coffees, you can get that automatically delivered every month. Pods, flavored coffees, it's all available. Pitch Black Espresso is my favorite. Use that link in our show notes, code J20 for 20% off your first order. I've always encouraged anybody who hasn't headed over there yet, go to the link in our show notes, buy a single bag, and give it a try. And yes, not just beans. You can also order them already ground for you. They do have that option. Blackout coffee, it is never bitter, always full coffee flavored, and we are so happy to have them as a part of this show. It is great to have Blackout coffee along for the ride. Thanks, John Santos and the gang over there. We love you guys. All right. Illegal alien voting in 5 elections. Unbelievable. Presidential elections, no less. A non-citizen illegally present in the U.S., illegally here, has cast ballots in 5 presidential elections and falsely claimed to be a citizen when registering to vote. According to a document recently filed in the U.S. District Court for the Eastern District of Pennsylvania. Affidavit by FBI Special Agent Michael McGann reveals the Mauritian national Mahdi Sacco. What a great name, Mahdi Sacco. Anyway, he was ordered deported back in 2000. Since that removal order, however, records are showing that Sacco voted in general elections in 2008, 12, 16, and 20, and the 2024 elections for federal office. How nice. Now, for all we know, Sacco could still be back in Mauritius or wherever the hell he comes from. He's still voting, though. You know what I mean. Falsely presented he was a U.S. citizen. The FBI agent detailed records suggesting Sacco illegally registered to vote multiple times in Pennsylvania. He appeared to have registered via a voter registration drive through the Department of Transportation in Pennsylvania. McGann said he compared the signatures from Mahdi Sacco on the voter records pictured in the affidavit, concluding they appeared consistent. Concluded probable cause is there to believe Sacco violated federal law. So now what? You're going to find him, and this time you're going to actually put him on a plane and deport his ass out of the country? He's been arrested. So he is still here in Philadelphia by Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, because he didn't have a proper passport for the journey. ICE was not able to enforce the removal order. Who gives a shit? Put his ass on a plane and send it back to wherever he came from. Let them deal with the fact that he doesn't have a passport. Not our problem. Just get him out. He's voting in our elections. Oh, man. Not only can illegals buy houses in the U.S., says Maryland, and they get HUD rents, which are supposed to be stopping now. Let's hope so. Let's hope so. What a great headline. Paranoid judges weaponized the disability law to mask kids during COVID. Oh, man. The false claim that ADA mask mandates transform a building from a death trap into a safe environment apparently is still a viable argument in court, stupid as we all now know it is. We're approaching very quickly the 6th anniversary of the first mandatory stay-at-home orders. Remember that? It was only 6 years ago in reaction to the pandemic. Most Americans just want to forget that whole happening. A lot of people, it is easier to forget that than confront the fact that you actually bought it, hook, line, and sinker, took part in this mass hysteria. Seniors forced to die alone, livelihoods, jobs, careers crushed, stunted the education of an entire generation of our kids. But this willful blindness leaves us very vulnerable to a repeat performance, and you just know they're planning it. In particular, unelected federal judges have not performed any meaningful self-reflection during their behavior during COVID, which was horrific at best. So we are just one bad flu season away from them reprising their role as public health overlords. One of the most egregious examples of that kind of overreach was how the federal judiciary used the American with Disabilities Act, the ADA, to enact health policy. Oh, they did that. Like a lot of the country gripped by a spectacular fit of fear-laced hysteria, desperate scrambles seem partly an attempt to pacify a mask-crazed public. To this day, there are still people out there who have such a brain fog, they're still wearing these stupid, useless masks. Particular panic common among the elderly saw COVID as a death sentence. One judge was in his 80s. Courts hijacked the ADA that requires barriers to be removed, like steep wheelchair ramp slopes, narrow doorways, perverted it into a mandate for this ritualistic muzzling of an entire generation of schoolchildren. Isn't that nice? Data-free decisions based on no science whatsoever except whatever that criminal idiot Fauci came up with, which was hardly science. Judges granted a few parents extraordinary judgments that masked hundreds of thousands of other families' children's just to placate their fears. That's all. Courts decreed mask mandates, transformed schools from a death trap into an oasis of safety. Everything's fine. Just put the mask on your face and you'll be safe. Bullshit. But the federal judges did it. And the reason I'm telling you this is because I am telling you, be prepared. There's another one coming down the road. I promise you. I promise you. Because that's how they work. The left loves to appease the Islamists. That's just a fact. And now the left is looking to ban dogs to do exactly that. This is not here. This is in the UK. Back in February, the UK said dogs were an obstacle to its latest diversity scheme, namely turning the too white English countryside into a much more diverse, translated Islamic, place to live. Not long after, a Muslim in New York said she was glad the city was coming to Islam when it comes to dogs. Now, Islam believes that dogs are haram, they are unclean. People in the West, we love our dogs. Pet industry in the UK, valued at over £10 billion. In the US, that figure, $157 billion in 2025. Holy crap. Most of that driven by dog ownership. So, of course, the politicians can't come right out and ban dogs altogether. That backlash would be unbelievable. Very swift, very secure. We would not put up with that for a New York minute. Instead, what are they doing? They're finding backdoor ways to ban dogs. And apparently the UK has found one of them. Keir Starmer, that absolute milquetoast moron, plans to ban dogs to appease Muslim bloc. Disgraceful that it is even being discussed, but it is. They're using the guise of safety. But we all know the truth. They want the country to become more Islam-friendly. 67 dog breeds could be banned in Britain if the new breeding guidelines set by Parliament become mandatory. The All-Party Parliamentary Group for Animal Welfare has launched a new tool to determine if a dog is healthy. The cross-party committee developed a 10-point checklist of extreme physical characteristics that can make for a poorly pooch, including mottled coloration, excessive skin folds, bulging outward turning eyes, drooping eyelids, under or over bite, and a muzzle that interrupts breathing. These apparently are signs that a dog is not healthy. Let me tell you that I had a Shar-Pei, the wrinkly dogs, who has nearly all of these things, and it is the most calm, passive, adorable, loving breed almost you'll ever find. That assessment, which is currently voluntary but expected to become law within 5 years, aims to do nothing but drive out breeds with any kind of these attributes. Studies show animals of these varieties can sometimes suffer pain, discomfort, and frustration from birth. Now, some of the breeds that would get banned because of this idiocy: border collies. Are you freaking kidding? Border collies. One of the most intelligent breeds on the planet. Boxers, Great Danes, Dachshunds, Newfoundland, Shih Tzu, St. Bernard. And the left is doing this right here in America, too. Oh, you're not excluded, folks. Sorry. Instead of banning guns, free speech, they'll make the cost of ammo and gun ownership cost prohibitive. Or they use corporations like Facebook, pre-Elon Musk Twitter, circumvent that pesky Constitution. Valentina Gomez on X. Those are the consequences of opening the doors to cultures that hate your customs. Yeah, mass migration without integration has consequences, you think? In Britain, 67 dog breeds that could be very well banned in the country. So far, they've let the left steamroll them. Animal welfare concerns. Give me a break. It's not about animal welfare concerns. If it was, they'd be banning halal slaughter. It's about appeasing Islamists who don't like dogs. Australia, you're next on the list. I promise you. And yes, after that, it will come rolling across our shores just as quickly as anything. Like an open border. Be prepared. It's going to happen. I promise you. We are done. That's it. The left is the most unhealthy of them all. Let's ban them. What a great idea. Let's just ban the left. Not a bad idea at all. We're live on Rumble and we are live on YouTube, our YouTube channel. Please give us a like and a follow over there on YouTube. We're almost at 1,000 people following us on subscribed on YouTube, which is fantastic. Thank you. Just a few more, we'll be over 1,000, which would be great news to do that. Look, even if you don't watch on YouTube, I don't care. Stick with us here on Rumble. But just go over there and give us a subscribe so we get the numbers up. Okay? Shh, don't tell YouTube. All right. I'm out of here. Thanks, folks. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. I'll be back again tomorrow for the Wednesday edition of the Jay Sheldon Show.